The XP Deus, how does it work on the wet sand? I've had quite a few emails from people asking me what's the best way to set it up. And I can only give you my personal preferences. You may have seen the recent ORX video where it worked on the wet sand faultlessly. Once again, I like to use the Goldfield program when searching the beaches. The wet sand and the dry sand are totally different things, and it requires a different ground balance. Dry sand, you can use your conventional inland settings. For example, a factory preset of 90 will work just fine. But when you're on the wet sand, the salt causes a few extra problems, so you need to eliminate that. Because the detector sees the salt as a signal, so we need to eliminate that particular signal. It comes up at about 26, 27 on the target ID. Let's get started with the Goldfield program. Where do I start? Program number 10. Goldfield. First of all, hit the GB, scroll down until you see beach, and it says no. Press the plus button so it says yes. Then go back into the detect screen. When you notice on the right hand screen now, the ground balance range has changed. You'll see 27 on the bottom right hand side. Into the menu, let's scroll down, audio response. I'm going to go up 1 to 3. Sensitivity 95, I'm going to drop that down to 90 at the moment, but if you're using the black coil, I strongly recommend you go into the expert setting and you'll see the TX power, drop that down to 1. Frequency, I'm on 17.2 kilohertz with this X35 coil. I'm not going to worry too much about that. Reactivity, factory preset is 2, I'm going to ramp it up to 3. Disc IAR, there's not a lot of iron on this beach, so I'm not going to worry about iron rejection too much. And there we are, we have the threshold. Now we're going to raise it up a little bit just so I've got the carrier in the background, a slight buzzing in my ears. So with these headphones, I think about 3 will do fine. Now there's no need to ground balance using the beach mode with the Goldfield. When we selected beach yes, that did everything for us. It does a pretty good job. However, if you find the machine a little bit erratic, you may want to go into ground balance manual and just raise it up a notch. But it should be okay. Now the very last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to switch the screen from the graphic to the XY screen, and I'll explain a little bit more about that at the end of the video. So let's go into options, configuration, drop down until we see profile, select profile and the plus button to select the XY screen. Now we go back into the detect menu and we're pretty much ready to go. And the target ID is showing iron, so let me turn the IAR on and let's see if it discriminates it. This is IAR 5. Perfect, it's done a good job there. Disc IAR, now that really is up to you how you set it. If your beach is quite clean, it's probably not worth using disc IAR at all and just rely on the target ID. But if you've got a lot of iron, you can turn it up to a maximum of 5 to give you a better chance. And also disc IAR on 5 is pretty good at identifying bottle caps. So as you can hear with those settings, the XP Deus is perfectly stable on the wet sand using the Goldfield mode. At the start of the video, I suggested you activate the XY screen in order to better identify targets. And there's 2 reasons why I do this. The first reason is bottle cap identification. In front of me I've got a bottle cap and a ring pull. And let's just pass the coil over the 2 targets and have a look at the target ID screen. That's the ring pull. It gives a good audio. Now here's the bottle cap. Once again a good audio, but the XY screen is totally different. The ring pull will simulate a coin or a gold ring. It gives a nice solid straight line, whereas the bottle cap gives a disruptive line, and it gives a little tag at the end of it, a little bit like the Nike symbol in reverse. When you're up close to a bottle cap, it's all over the screen, but if you lift the coil up just a little bit, you'll see what I mean. You get that tick. So that's one reason why I choose to use the XY screen. And the XY screen comes into play with this next question. We talked about ground balance earlier, so how do you know when to switch from the dry beach ground balance to the wet beach ground balance? For example, 90 or 27. Well, once again, the XY screen is our friend. And when we're searching, have a look at the line orientation. If you're on the wet beach, the line will be from top to bottom as you're searching. And when you're on the dry beach, it will go left to right when you're searching. So that gives you a good indication of when to change the ground balance. If you want any more information about searching the wet beach and some top tips, why not have a look at my recent ORX video where I go through the basic setup of the ORX, very similar to the Deus for searching wet sand. Absolutely perfect. This tide's just going out and it's good as gold. That's a massive signal. That's a big piece of aluminium, I should imagine. It's certainly not a coin. One thing to avoid when on the wet sand with the XP Deus is hitting the coil on the sand. For example, so try and keep the coil just above the wet sand. Well guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Short and sweet and to the point. That's the way we like it. I hope it's been of help to you. The sun's going down now. I'm going to get a couple of hours in before it's time to go home. Apologies in advance for the wind noise. I'm on the beach. There's not really a lot I can do about it. But thumbs up if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And hopefully I'll see you on the next Metal Detector Skill School video. Until then, happy hunting.